Hello everyone, my name is Rob and today I'm going to be showing you 5 ways to improve your Minecraft builds. And I'm going to show you how to get something like the building behind me, one step at a time, starting with this big block here. So the first step to improve your build is to use a contrasting colour. So in this case I have chosen to use andesite to highlight the granite. I'm basically using two colours which do kind of complement each other but are very different, and that really adds a lot of diversity to your build, and it really helps emphasize certain areas and certain lines. Now something that I use is this website that I'll link in the description, where you can find different color palettes for each block, and this is good inspiration to find two colors that maybe are very distinct but still go together. Now the second tip is to actually use that same color palette that you found before to add even more blocks into the mix. Now in this case it's not contrasting blocks but it's complementary blocks. So you can see here that the granite goes well with the polished granite and with the bricks, and I've basically just gone through the build and added in patches of these variations. Now the one thing that's important is that you shouldn't consider bricks based on the name but just on the color. For example, this is light grey concrete powder, and you'd think powder doesn't really work for building, but actually it's the color you're looking for, and this fits quite well within the structure. Now something that you'll see in some tutorials is that you want to use darker shades of the same color lower down and slowly progress with lighter shades going upwards, and that's a very good advice for some builds. For example, more medieval builds or more rustic builds, that works very well. For modern and for space or futuristic, it doesn't quite work as well, so kind of you have to decide when you want to do it. But certainly for medieval, yeah, use darker colors lower and then lighter colors going upwards. And don't be afraid to use solid color as well. You can see that these pillars here are just polished andesite, and they kind of stand out a bit more because of the fact that they are all uniform. Now this build is still looking quite blocky, and that's why here I've added in some variation and some randomness. You don't want things to look perfect. You want stuff to stand out essentially and look asymmetrical and weird. So here we've kind of chopped off a corner and it gives it this new diagonal shape, which looks very good in this type of building. But also something else I've done is I moved these two floors slightly outwards, which again breaks up this uniformity that you had going all the way up and kind of makes it a bit more interesting, as well as breaking these kind of flat surfaces that we had before. And something else I've done is I made this side shorter than this side, which again kind of helps make it feel a bit more unique, a bit more interesting. Now something that helps make things look a bit less symmetrical is also depth. So here I've actually worked in different kind of ledges all the way across, and this kind of breaks up this flat surface and adds a lot more dimensions to it. I've especially been using these stairs because they're not quite blocks and they kind of look a lot more detailed than they actually are. Something that's very important is this base. I made sure it kind of stands out slightly so it fits better within its landscape, and the roof as well. I've made it slightly more imposing, and breaking up these flat surfaces, creating this depth, is something that really will play in your favor. So once you've got all of these bigger elements in place and you're happy with your structure, the next thing to do is to add detail, and this is where you can go absolutely crazy. You can use any blocks you want, and again, don't worry about what they're meant to be, just worry about what they look like. And here you can see I've added in some jungle wood, which is still complementary to the granite, but it kind of looks a bit different, so it's kind of creating a whole new dimension, whole new color dimension. But the most important thing I've done here is I've added in details using weird blocks. It's not just square blocks like this polished andesite, but you've got fences, you've got slabs, you've got stairs, you've got iron bars, you've got trapdoors, you've got all of these different elements, all of these blocks which are half blocks, third blocks, quarter blocks. And what this does is makes it really feel a lot more detailed, because there's a lot more nooks and crannies and hidden surfaces and a lot more going on. Essentially it really gives the feel that this place is a lot more alive than it actually is. And again, it's good to add elements that are not symmetrical, that break up that symmetry that the building has otherwise. That's why we got these vines going down the sides, for example, or just interesting little features that kind of add to the story of the place, or even just decorational elements that don't really serve a specific purpose but just add to the feel of this entire building. And something that's very important is to make sure it's within a certain context. You don't want to just build a building, you want to also build all the surroundings and make sure it all fits in within your little world. So there you have it. That's 5 ways you can improve your build, and trust me, this is much easier than it looks. It takes a bit of time, takes a bit of practice, but everyone is capable of doing this. Look at me, I used to be a redstone guy, and here I am building skyscrapers. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!